Welcome back. You're watching Buy and Sell on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Remember, viewers, you can write to us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen. And each time you write to us, do remember to mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that name as well. And if you already invested in the stock, mention the buy price, the quantity, as well as the time horizon. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. Talking about the experts, today we have Sharmila Joshi who's joining us on the fundamentals, while on the technicals, today we have Aditya Arora. Once again, good morning to both of you, and let's kickstart taking the stock related queries then. And this one is coming in from Veni, who's a senior citizen from Hyderabad. And Veni has Bank of Maharashtra shares, Aditya, 2,800 shares at a price of 63 rupees per share, and SJVN as well, about 1,000 shares at a price of 153 rupees per share. He's saying he is in a loss. Can he look to hold or average right now?
I think PSU banking space had seen a stellar run last year, but this year they have been continuously underperforming. I would advise investors to be in a space which is outperforming and has better chances of doing well in the short and the medium term. But when we talk about Bank of Maharashtra, then the stock is making lower high and lower bottom pattern, which is negative in the short term. So I would advise, instead of piling on more shares of Bank of Maharashtra, they should get out and better wait for a better buying opportunity, which should be around 45 to 50 odd levels. Right now, I think the stock is in little weak terrain, because last week also we saw good downside, and I think the trend of the market turning on the downside, Nifty is correcting. So there's more downside over here. Better look to get in at 45 odd levels.
All right, that's the day coming in on Bank of Maharashtra. But moving on to the next query then, and this one in coming in on escorts. And Sharmila, let me take it from you. RK Ahuja wants to know that would you suggest escorts, Dr. Lal Path Lab, or maybe USL for a fresh buy at this price point for the next 1 year? Any of the three stocks that you like at this price point?
So the trouble is they're all from very different sectors. So as I said earlier, Escorts Kubota I would like, because it is from auto-related tractor sector. So I think that that is something that I would like. Maybe not buy it right away, because in terms of valuations it looks a little expensive. Coming to Dr. Lalpath, I think yes, again this is a sector that I like. I think pathology labs. We did see a bit of a downturn in them post, the rise that we saw in COVID, because there was, this price war, etc. But I think all that has now played out, and I think that now the stock is at a reasonable level. So if you're a long-term investor, you could look to invest. And coming to United Spirits, again, it's a sector that I like, but perhaps not this stock. Maybe I would go for a stock like a Radico Khaitan or something like that, but not USN.
All right. This next query that I have is coming in from our viewer, that is Ashok. He's writing to us from Chennai. He has Reliance Industries 45 shares at a price of 2,930 rupees per share. Aditya, he wants to know whether he should buy some more at these levels, look to average. What's your take coming in? In fact, just a quick note. Every day we've been getting at least 4 to 5 queries that are asking us technical view on Reliance Industries, given the fact the stock has seen such a sharp correction over the last 3 months. So that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of them asking for short-term queries or short-term suggestions when it comes to Reliance Industries. So let me actually take your take first, Aditya, and I would like to get a fundamental take as well from Sharmila, whether everything is all right, everything is going fine for Reliance when you talk fundamentally. So Aditya, for you go first.
Right. Look, Reliance is the most heaviest weight, and people have huge trust on this counter. Hence, a lot of participation in this counter. But when we talk about the short-term trend of this stock, then stock is making lower high and lower bottom pattern. Hence, in the short term, the trend is weak, and we see that Nifty is coming down. Hence, Reliance is also in some way influenced by that. So a good price to get in Reliance would be 2,500. I think little more downside is possible over here. Although in long term, the outlook for large caps and Reliance specifically looks very good because the valuations are not as stretched as small cap and mid cap pockets. So always the money will flow in Reliance Industry. But if we talk about the short term, then 2,500 is the level where a lot of put writers are active. Hence, that will create a good support for the counter.
All right, moving on to the next query. And Aditya, once again coming to you. This query is coming in from Rebecca, who is already holding 5 stocks of ABB India, and her buy price is 8,000 rupees. Just a while back, we have seen ABB parents company coming out with the earnings and the commentary on the India business, and hence the up move on an intraday basis. But Aditya, how do you see the stock at these levels, as well as can she go ahead and buy at current levels?
I think the stock has done phenomenally well in the last few weeks and months, but I wouldn't suggest to buy right now because the valuations are very stretched. When we talk about overvaluation, then capital goods is the first name which comes up in investors' mind. So I wouldn't suggest to go long on this counter. Just wait and let the trend play out. If the stock takes out its 52-week high, which is placed at 9,200, then a fresh leg of rally could continue in this counter. Hence, just wait right now.
All right, so that's the take coming in on ABB India. Hamza has NTPC actually about 1,170 shares at a price of 320 rupees per share. Wants to know whether it makes more sense to go ahead and buy some more to average out the price. The viewer is a long-term investor. What's your take actually coming in on NTPC? Sharmila, the viewer is sitting on a profit.
I'm neutral, honestly, because I think two reasons. One is that the valuations of the stock are a little expensive, and we are seeing market in a bit of a corrective mode. So even if you want to add, I would recommend that you wait a little. Nothing wrong with the stock, so definitely continue holding what you have. But in terms of adding new, I would wait.
That's the take coming in on NTPC. With the next query that I have, Aditya, is coming in from Sangeeta from Pune, and she wants your take on 3 counters. First up is SCI. She's holding 30 shares. Buy price is 322 rupees. Also holding LIC, 40 shares at a price of 1,030. And the last one is Ambuja Cements, 50 shares at a price of 622 rupees. What to do in all 3 of them? What will be your advice? If you want me to repeat any of those, please do tell me.
Sure, I remembered all the 3 counters. So the best one which I like in this pack is LIC. We are seeing a lot of news flow in insurance space, and government's inclination is also there in this specific sector. So there's a tailwind in this sector, and LIC has now reached its important support, which is placed at 850 to 900. So I think this stock is the stock where you can do accumulation in the medium term. But when we talk about the other 2 counters like SCI, the chart patterns are deteriorated. So I would say that you should follow level-based approach over here. If the stock breaks its important support, which is placed at 200, then you should consider exiting the stock. And the last one is Ambuja Cement. So in Ambuja Cement also, I think one must consider exiting the counter and entering at lower levels. The important support for the counter is 500.
All right, those are the takes coming in on those counters. This one is from Shrikant from Bangalore. Oil India is a counter that he's purchased actually, Sharmila, at a price of around 412 rupees per share. He wants to know what's your view coming in on Oil India. Is it a good stock to continue to hold on to?
So, overall, this is not.
We'll just get back to Sharmila. Till then, let me take a technical view from Aditya when it comes to Oil India. How is it looking on the charts to you right now? Because yes, it has seen a downward bias over the last 2 to 3 months. Also, you could say that there's a lot happening globally that contributes to this fall as well.
Geopolitical tension. Because of that, there's volatility in crude oil prices, and hence we have seen volatility in this counter as well. But the stock has corrected fair bit from its 52-week high of 768 odd levels to 520. So I think 500 is the level where this stock looks better in terms of risk to reward. And if we see further correction in crude oil, then the chances of appreciation over here increases as there's a fundamental trigger over here. So I think around 500, 480 level is the right level wherein one could actually, accumulate the stock for a rebound, which could be till around 600 to 650 odd levels on the upside.
I believe we have Sharmila back, and Sharmila, I just realized that I didn't come back to you to take your fundamental take on Reliance Industries, so maybe you can give that as well as talk about Oil India as well.
Finish Oil India. I'm sort of I do like the stock, but I'm neutral on the stock as of now because, as you all have just discussed, geopolitical pressure, etc. So I would, and the results are also sort of expected to be weak. So I would definitely not buy at this moment. I wouldn't sell what I have, but I wouldn't buy further. Coming to Reliance, we must realize as sort of long-term investors that it is come bonus right now. The ex-bonus date has not been announced, and even if you look at the numbers, the verticals which are expected to grow have shown good growth, whether it is telecom, whether it is retail, and that is sort of further value unlock that is waiting to happen in the stock. So as a long-term investor, I would continue to be positive on Reliance.
That's the take coming in on Big Boy Reliance as well as Oil India. But with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries. Till now, let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries then. And the next query that I have, Sharmila, is coming in on Raymond's, wherein Lakshmi from Vijayawada has purchased 300 shares of Raymond at a price of 600 rupees. And given the fact that she was already a shareholder, the Raymond Lifestyle shares were also free given to her. So what's your take on Raymond at this price point, since she's already sitting at good profits?
I recommend that you exit. I think you have exposure to Raymond Lifestyle. That, according to me, is the better business out of the two. So be happy with that and exit Raymond. And maybe you could look to enter into some other construction real estate company. I like Godrej Properties, for instance. But I think as a first move, you need to exit Raymond.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Raymond. This one is coming in from Komal from Shillong. Wants to know about IDFC First Bank, 10,000 shares at a price of 89 rupees per share. Long-term investor wants to know whether it can buy some more at current price. What's your take coming in on this, Sharmila? Do you think it's an apt move to go ahead and add some more of IDFC First Bank in the portfolio? The buy price was 89. The stock has been under pressure of late.
Yeah, this is a stock that I do like, and the stock is now at a valuation that I do like. So you could slowly start adding more. But because overall sentiment for banking is weak, I would recommend that you don't go out and buy whatever you have in mind immediately, but stagger it. But in terms of what the stock is doing and the price it is at, I like it.
All right. The next query that I have is coming in on Deepak Nitrite and Aditya. If you can help Venu from Chennai on your take on Deepak Nitrite. He's holding 100 shares at a price of 3,000 rupees. How do you track this stock and what to do next?
I think the outlook for chemical sector is very good because for many years the stocks haven't done anything in chemical space. So the valuations have become little attractive, but they also come under cyclical sector. As we have seen China showing extreme volatility, this sector may also experience some volatility. But coming down to the technicals, I think right level to accumulate this stock would be around 2,600 to 2,700, where the risk reward is pretty favorable because recently we have seen a knockdown from 3,000 odd levels where the sellers were pretty aggressive. So probably with falling downtrend in the market, this stock could trickle down to 2,600 to 2,700 level. That would be the right time where the risk reward would be pretty favorable.
All right, let me take this next query then, and it's coming in from our viewer Gopi, who's writing to us from Kerala. Gopi has Canara Bank, 104 is the buy price, 1,000 share. What's your opinion, Sharmila? Exit or stay put with Canara Bank?
Stay put. Valuations are okay, and as I said earlier as well, the sort of sentiment seems to have gone a little awry for banking, especially PSU banking. So probably your waiting period could be longer, but given the numbers of this bank as well as the valuation is that, I think for me this is a clear hold.
The next query that I have, Sharmila, let me take it from you only because since we were having your take on autos, you did mention Ashok Leyland, and Satyajit from Hyderabad is holding 270 shares of Ashok Leyland. He didn't share his buy price actually. Overall, how do you see the stock at this price point and moving ahead? Any target price on the same? And Sharmila, one more query that is on Happiest Mind, holding 150 shares from the last 3 months actually. Also no buy price mentioned over here. So what to do in this both of these counters? He's a long-term investor though.
I think for me, both counters are a hold. Let's talk of Ashok Leyland first. I think, we've all seen the kind of improvement they've done in their books as well as the numbers they've delivered. Also, I like their foray into electric buses, especially if you live in Mumbai, you would have seen their double-decker electric air-conditioned buses. So, I think that, when it comes to public transportation, electric vehicles have a long way to go. And Ashok Leyland has really displayed very good models in that segment. So I think that we could see growth from there as well. We are seeing the stock correct, but overall, within that space, this is a stock that I like. So definitely, if not a buy, I would say that this is a stock that you can increasingly start buying uh, in a staggered manner. Coming to a Happiest Mind, again, I think valuations are in favor of the stock. And overall, if you ask me, within the IT space, mid-cap IT is something that I do prefer. Again, maybe not an outright buy, wait for numbers and let's see what the sector is doing. Since we are like sort of at the start of we heard from HCL Tech, I think, and we need to hear from some other IT companies as well. So wait for all that to play out within this month. But overall, a stock that I like.
All right, that's the take coming in on those counters. But let me take this next query that is coming in from Sheshama. And Aditya, this one is for you. The viewer has NMDC Steel shares from June, 1,000 shares at a price of 60. Is it better to book losses and shift to Tata Steel instead?
I think the NMDC steel has been continuously showing a downtrend, which even the viewer said that the stock has been in downtrend. Better alternative wouldn't be Tata Steel. I think the better alternative could be Hindalco or JSW Steel, which are one of the best stocks in the large cap space, in the metal space. And if one has to go switch in the small cap and mid cap space, then I think National Aluminium is a very good candidate. Look, all the stocks in the metal pack are down, but look at National Aluminium. It's almost touching its swing high with phenomenal strength. So I think this stock has a long way to go. If the market is supportive, this stock can do really, really well.
Right, that's the take on the metal counters. But the next query that I have, Aditya, is coming in from Sunita Rai from Bangalore. Wants to know the best levels to enter Bandhan Bank for the medium term.
Look, Bandhan Bank in the last week had phenomenal run, but that all those gains are given up in this week. So a good level to accumulate Bandhan Bank would be about 150 odd levels. But I wouldn't suggest to be an aggressive buyer in this counter, because if you look at multi-month, multi-week, multi-year trend, then this stock has continuously gone down. So let the dust settle down, let the stock stabilize a little bit. I still doubt if the stock can outperform the market, because once it breaks its 52-week low, which is placed at 170, I think selling pressure could again emerge. So wait for 140 to 150 odd levels, see if the stock stabilizes, then reconsider buying this stock.
About someone who wants to buy the stock afresh, right, Aditya? What about someone who's already purchased? We have Vivek, who's purchased Bandhan Bank at a price of around 199, while we have Vinod, who's purchased Bandhan Bank at a price of 214, and both of them have seen wealth erosion. So what's your take coming in on that, these two counters?
If I talk about Bandhan Bank, then I would give a level-based approach. Let the stock show strength, which could be understood if the stock crosses 220 odd levels. Buy at that time, keep stop loss of 190 and have target of 250 to 280. But let the stock cross 220, which is the important resistance for the counter. Could I know the second name apart from Bandhan Bank?
I'm sorry, it was Bandhan Bank. I meant that two viewers have it. Vinod has it at 214 and Vivek had it at the price of 199. So, got your take coming in on Bandhan Bank. Any suggestions of Sharmila when you talk about fundamentals for Bandhan Bank? Because now you have a new head at the helm.
This is that way a new entrant in the banking space. And if you ask me in terms of valuations and earnings, it's reasonable. So we should give some time for the new management to settle in and then take a look. But at this level, I'm sort of neutral on the stock.
The neutral take coming in on Bandhan Bank, and Aditya also highlighted the key levels. But the next company that we have a query on is Zomato, and Sharmila Nalini Subramaniam is holding 20 shares. Her buy price is 195 rupees. Can she go ahead and add more at these levels as well?
Well, I think the valuations are quite expensive. We have seen a very good recovery in the stock, and rightfully so, given the fact that they delivered in terms of numbers. Also, their new acquisition is something that I like. I think those things will now slowly play out. But I think let's get a sign in terms of earnings, from earnings, and then look to add more. Since you already got the stock at a fairly lower level, just hold what you have.
From Avijit, back to you again, Sharmila. He's writing to us from Delhi. He has a couple of pharma names in his portfolio. One is Aurobindo Pharma. He has about 106 shares at a price of 1,411. Lupin, 73 shares at a price of 1,894 odd rupees. He wants to know whether to add some more for the longer term or else to move to some other pharma companies. His time horizon is about 2 years. And if you look at the Aurobindo Pharma, he's actually bought the stock at a higher end of the price band actually. What's your take coming in for both of them? Stay put with them for the next 2 years or switch?
Yes, I think stay put. The valuations are not in support of buying fresh at this price. So I would wait on buying afresh. And Lupin, out of the two, probably I prefer Lupin as a stock. But again, over here, I think that just hold what you have. Because I think that soon we will. Just to sort of recap, pharma as a sector has done well over the past 5-6 months, and now we are entering into a zone where you could possibly see rate cuts going ahead, and the export sector facing sectors will benefit from that. I think just wait a little bit and before you add further. But just for now, just hold what you have.
Right, that's the take coming in on Lupin. But Aditya, the next query is coming in on Tata Motors, and Professor Chalam from Andhra Pradesh is holding 66 shares. His buy price is above the current market price, is 953 rupees. Would you suggest to go ahead and buy more on dips for Tata Motors, which is yet again retesting the 900 level?
I think Tata Motors actually shows a lot of cyclical movement. We had seen the stellar run from almost 200 to 600 very long back, and then the stock went from 600 odd levels to 16 many years, and then again from 2020 we have stock seen going from 60 to almost 1200. After achieving 1200, I think the stock has priced in a lot of positives. There are a lot of disruption in the industry, and technically also the stock is making lower high, lower bottom pattern. So I maintain little bearish stance on this counter, and as a disclaimer also, we have been shorting this stock since 1100 odd levels. Right now also we maintain little bearish bias on this counter. If one has to buy this stock, then I think one should wait till levels like 750 odd levels. Right now the stock is little in the bear's hand, and if the stock breaks its swing low of 860, I think little bit of downside will again open up. So it would be better if stock is accumulated at the lower levels. There the risk reward would be much more favorable.
All right, this one is coming in from Lakshmi, writing to us from Bangalore. Wants to know whether can go ahead and buy KEI Industries right now. This one just came out with its earnings a few days ago. What's your take coming in on this one, KEI Industries? Sharmila, do you think it's a good bet to look at right now?
This is a stock that I do like. Valuations look a little expensive, but given the fact that this belongs to a sector that I like, maybe you can start doing a sort of a staggered buying. But yes, this is a stock that I like.
Right, that's the take coming in on KEI Industries. But with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Just a quick look at what the markets are doing at this point in time, because we have actually fallen more since the start of the show. Right now, if you look at the Nifty, we are down about 250 odd points from the day's highest point. In fact, Nifty Bank also has seen a downtick approximately 1% or so from the day's high, about 700 points. Knock coming in from day's high. That's your Nifty Bank. As well as the broader markets, remember the pain there was much more sharper when you compare it to the benchmark indices. You had the mid-cap index that was under pressure since the word going. There you go, down about 1.3% at the day's lowest point. That is your mid-cap index. Ditto coming in for small cap index as well at the day's lowest point. Auto index being one of the major concern or pain point in trade today, 3% down coming in for the auto index. Let me then continue taking your query. This next query that I have is coming in from SS Raman, and he has about 150 shares of Paytm, which he purchased at around 625 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should go ahead and book profits right now. What's your take coming in on this, Aditya? On the charts, how is Paytm looking to you?
I think it's a difficult one because despite market correcting, the stock has actually doubled from 300 odd levels to 700. So I think there's some inherent strength in this counter, and we have seen good volumes as well. So I maintain a little positive bias in the stock, but as the market is correcting, is in downward trend, so that could create pressure on this counter as well. But if you maintain a longer horizon, I think this stock can do well.
Right. So longer horizon, the stock can do well when you talk about the technicals, but fundamentally, what's your take then, Sharmila? A difficult one?
Once again, I think that we have seen these stocks correct very deeply for good reasons, and then improve from those low levels again for good reasons. So having done all that, I think now you really need to see further earnings, give it a couple of quarters, see what the earnings do, how they deliver, and then look to invest further. So if you have the stock, hold it, but I wouldn't recommend buying afresh.
That's the take coming in on Paytm. Let me take this next query coming in from Megan. Wants to know about BSE at an average price of 2,800 is the buy price for the stock. Wants a medium to long-term view on this one, hold or sell. Yesterday you had a note coming from Jefferies actually, which downgraded the counter, which actually spoke about the valuations as well. In case you've read, are you in sync with that report, Sharmila, when it comes to BSE, and what's your take?
So this is the stock that I like. I'm afraid I haven't read the report that you're talking of. So the reason I like the stock, of course, is the fact that what we are really seeing is that there are more and more investors coming to capital markets, and given our the size of our population and the percentage that participates in equity, it shows that we still have a long way to go. So when you're talking of stocks like a BSE or any brokerage stock or anything that is sort of linked to capital markets in that sense, these are plays that I would be positive on. Then, of course, we are still awaiting the listing of NSE, which is the larger of the two exchanges in terms of equity volume. So I think that's another thing that will play out in the coming time. So the valuations at this point in time do look expensive. I do give that. But if you're a longer term investor, of course, I think hold what you have. And even in terms of buying, if you see corrections, use that as an opportunity to enter.
All right, so positive views coming in for BSE. Let's take this next one coming in from Megha, writing to us from UAE. Has Indian Hotels at the price of around 650 rupees per share. How is it looking on the charts to you now, Aditya?
I think Indian Hotel has been a consistent performer. We have seen its rally from 2020 lows of almost less than 100 to almost 700 odd levels. So stellar rally. I think this stock can outperform the market in the long run, but given in the short term, there's pressure in the market, and if the stock breaks its support at 650, there could be little more selling till 600 odd levels. But if one has to maintain a long-term view, then I think I maintain positive bias on this counter.
One is coming in from Ranjan. He's writing to us from Bangalore. Wants to know about Vodafone Idea. He wants to know what's the outlook for this one. He's not mentioned his buy price, but mentioned that he has a quantity of about 2,000 shares of Vodafone Idea in the portfolio. What's your take on this one? What's the outlook for the next 3 to 5 years at least, Sharmila?
Exit, and I think we've discussed this talk too many times. So the reason for why I'm saying exit is very simple. You have a large debt. You are in a sector which I like, honestly, but given the fact that all of us are using our phone for data more and more, so this is a sector that I think is going to continue to grow in the Indian context. But where Vodafone is concerned, you are in a sector which also requires you to make investments to upgrade your network, your services, etc. And you are in debt already. You are losing customers on a monthly basis. So I would really just shift to either Bharti Airtel or Reliance, honestly, if I wanted to continue to be in the sector. But for me, Vodafone is an exit.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Vodafone, Vodafone Idea, that is. Smita Vikram from Bangalore has written to us, Tata Consumers for a period of about 3 to 6 months. The buy price is about 1,180 rupees per share. Aditya, what's your take coming in on the charts? How is this one looking to you? What's the target that you can set for this one?
I think in last 4 weeks, the stock has seen some pressure and the selling is evident from the volumes which we have seen. I would establish a target for this counter only when it takes out its important resistance, which is placed at 1250. Once that level is broken, we'll consider that as a breakout, and target of that would come to almost 1500, but only when we have a breakout above 1250.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Tata Consumer. Let me take this last query then. This one is coming from Shrikant, who's writing to us from Hyderabad. Birla Soft, 200 shares for the price of around 450 rupees per share. Holding for the past 3 years. What's your take for the longer term then? Stay put with this one, Sharmila?
I was just looking at the stock price and thinking of the time when I used to recommend it when it was 300 something level. So, that's the kind of rally that we've seen in a lot of this mid-cap IT space. That said, I think that even at this price, the stock looks okay to me. Again, we are in the midst of earnings season, and earnings do seem to take its toll on IT stocks in particular. So just wait a bit if you want to add further, but definitely hold what you have.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Birla Soft. On that note, thank you so much, Aditya, as well as Sharmila, for joining us on the show and resolving all the viewer queries. Also giving your take on the auto index. Talking about autos, you have the last day of Hyundai IPO then. And so far, as of 11:35 a.m., the total subscription is about 0.5 times. If you look at the QIB portion, it has been subscribed about 0.8 times, NII portion 0.3 times, and the retail portion has been subscribed about 0.4 times. But total subscription is only 0.5 times till now. But on that note, we are totally out of time on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. So goodbye from Shrishti, myself, and the team that put the show together.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.